All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Max and Howard Drink Beer. I am Max.
And I'm Johnny Knoxville, and welcome to Jackass!
No, I don't think you can say that. I think we just got sued.
Oh, shit.
But this is a very special episode. This is episode number 37, which means no significance to us. This is a lot farther than I thought we would go.
Yeah, wow. 37.
Yeah. And
so are we going to mark this a different number than what we said? Just
we're
to fuck up Colin?
We're absolutely going to mark this a different number. We have no clue what episode we're on. If you want to count and let us know, we would appreciate it.
Yeah, that would be kind of
nice. Because I can't count past 4. And Howard only has fingers to count, not toes. So we're not doing very good between the two of us. But this is a special episode for us because we are drinking a special beer, aren't we, Howard?
Yeah, it's a Special Amber from Sprecher Brewing. Not root beer. I was going to say root beer.
Right.
Sprecher is pretty... Well, and when I was growing up, Sprecher was a big soda. They were soda jerks, you know. You had the cream soda,
right.
which you'd get from Woodman's every time you went to... you get from Menards.
And, you know, now they're just regular jerks because soda jerks aren't a thing anymore.
No, R.I.P. In peace.
In peace, right.
Yeah,
right, in peace. So for those of you who don't know, Sprecher holds a special place in our hearts.
Yeah, it does. I'll actually kind of go through the story with you. We've all kind of... You're probably all sick of the whole box horn thing, you know. Excuse me. Yes.
Did you know we worked at a gun club that Howard just mentioned, but no free advertisements, so we're done mentioning it?
No free ads.
No free ads. Hashtag.
But when Max had left this gun club, he, unfortunately, he left me in charge. And one of the first things I did is I said, what the fuck do we have all of this Sprecher Special Amber for? Nobody drinks it. Let's get rid of it. And so we did, and that was cool and it was fine. You know, we had 2 or 3 guys that got a little cranky about it. You know, that's Sprecher. Yeah, so whatever. So, you know, when you came back, we actually got a new distributor, AJ. He's a good friend of ours. You know, he's a longtime friend of the show. You know, when he came back, he said, listen, you do me a big favor if you brought it back in, and you brought back in, and we've had this a time or two on the show.
Perhaps. I can go back through the...
No, it was Eastside Dark. That's what I'm getting confused. So we've dropped Sprecher so many times already.
Right, and we've tried a few new ones. I tried that African one here that one day. It wasn't on the show, but in my own free time.
And we should post more about those too. How was that, by the way?
That was interesting. It was
okay.
It was dark and creamy and
dark and creamy. So like a creamy dark.
I knew you were going there, but yeah, pretty much. But a better version of it. It had a little earthy flavor to it, which I really enjoyed. I would buy the beer again if I could find it in a case, because they only sell them individually, and that is an expensive individual beer.
I could probably sneak it in, but we'll get to that another day. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, that's one of the cool things about Sprecher. Sprecher was so supportive of what we did and how we did it, you know. Our PVA, that was my Sgt. Pepper's, by the way. You know, they brought the ambulance out to serve all the beer, and we had case after case after case after beer, and the PVA bought it all, and they donated it all to our shoot, and it went down like, dare I say it, a Led Zeppelin. You know, it's crazy how many people were just taken away, how much support they brought to this little tiny gun club that was just trying to make a difference in the world. You know, and so this was the first beer that we actually brought back. My biggest issue with this is they started in the stogie bottle, so it was still 12 ounces, but it was just an awkward bottle shape. And they changed. I don't want to say they changed it for us, but they did change it to a normal shaped bottle.
They changed it. It is actually a wider mouth beer. I don't know if you've noticed that. The bottle has a wider mouth, which is not common on most beers. It's for pouring more down your gullet quicker.
Man, that brings me back.
You know, so it was pretty cool. I remember when they changed all their logos and everything, even on the bottles.
I do.
And went from a simple Sprecher logo.
And they went to something more like complex, and they did that with all of their beers.
Well, they gave it a little attitude.
Yeah.
And with the attitude, I think more people, I want to say more people bought it, but I feel like it was just because we were pushing it so heavy because we wanted to do that. We wanted to become a Sprecher bar.
And we were really, really close. Had we stayed maybe 6-8 months longer, we would have really shot it over the moon.
But this was something that I remember when I started and I got into the bar.
And that's where I was going. Max was there so much longer than I was, and I was kind of curious about how he got it in and how that all kind of came to fruition. So here we go, ladies and germs.
So the big thing about it was I had a lot of weird beers when I got there. You don't even see it. We didn't have old style when you got there.
I never was there for old style.
We were gone with that. The Labatt's Blue. I used to carry that regularly for our good buddy Steve Sladen.
Yeah, but he was the only one that drank it.
No, there was a couple guys that would drink
really?
it.
Okay.
It's a light Canadian Pilsner. But a Pilsner is a Pilsner, as you know.
It's a beer.
Most people bounce around between them. Nobody has a particular...
excuse me.
But
that was rude.
That was them. I carried tons of Guinness.
Wow.
I would go through like 2-3 cases a week of Guinness, and then we just stopped. And I don't know why.
Because I was never there for the Guinness.
So I know that one. Sam Adams was another one, too.
I was there for Sam Adams.
I had tons of Sam Adams, and then we got rid of it, and then we brought it back. You actually were part of the revival of it when it got brought back.
When it got brought back, though, like the issue was there was a couple of firefighters.
Yeah.
And then we sit on it all winter long, and nobody would ever drink it. The thing about Sam Adams is those guys that drank Sam Adams, they would drink something else.
Right.
So, and you do that math, like, it was a weird time in between you and me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because there were so many things that were changing with the industry, and goddamn, like, so much has changed since we left, for God's sakes. Like, I'm looking at the Shifter beer right now. Like, it's got hints of peach and strawberry.
Yeah.
Dude, we wouldn't have sold that for all the tea in China at the gun club.
Right.
Peach and strawberry? Yep. That's a girl drink.
Yep.
And it's just like that.
But that's what it was. When I started there in, the ancient times of 2012, everything we had was, it was a simplistic thing. I mean, like, I brought in New Glarus beers. We didn't have them when I started.
Oh.
Because, well, why would we do that?
Right.
Every beer we had in that place was like, let's buy the cheapest beer we can.
Yeah.
Instead of, well, hey, this is Wisconsin, let's bring Wisconsin beers in.
Why not?
But we did have this Sprecher Amber. And
who drank it?
Dan Pillay.
Really?
Dan Pillay was the only one who drank it.
I don't think you can say his name over
the Chug-a-Lug champion.
Man. I think there's like a siren in all of the police stations in Milwaukee going off just because we said his name.
Yeah,
that's kind of scary. I'm nervous.
But he was big on that. He would drink that. He would drink Guinness. Fetters would drink Guinness.
Fetters.
It was a strange group because everybody kind of all at the same time decided, hey, I'm done with this. So I had to try to evolve that bar quickly.
Yeah, but, if you think about that group, you think about, Fetters is a different bird. Let's not kid ourselves. You went from, Guinness, a high-quality beverage, to real vodka with 4 ice cubes in it, Yeah. So, I mean,
4 ice cubes
is that
and
evolving?
A splash of soda.
I never got the splash.
Oh, man.
I never had to splash anything with him.
I would literally just open the can of Mountain Dew, and I'd set it far enough away from him that it seemed like I was pouring it for him,
right?
But it was him. So he'd just, a flick of the wrist, pour it every now and then. So that was always entertaining.
What
but yeah,
nutcase.
I got rid of probably like 7 or 8 beers. Some of them I'm drawing blanks on, but like I boosted the crowd of Blatz and Schlitz.
And that was cool. And I was a big pounder of that drum because how many bars do you go to has Schlitz?
Yeah.
You know? And then think about that and multiply that by like 0.25. That's how many bars have Blatz.
But
Nobody had Blatz.
But we had St. Pauli's NA.
Oh, NA, yeah.
And O'Doul's NA.
Yep.
And then we carried
It was like an amber O'Doul's.
And then there was a dark O'Doul's NA.
Oh.
So I think we had 4. I can't remember what the 4th non-alcoholic beer was, but I carried, when I got there were a lot of non-alcoholic beers. And George Woolwork would drink one.
Okay.
And I asked him one day, George, what do you prefer? If I got rid of these 3, would you drink this one? Absolutely.
Really?
And he said, as long as you have an option. He goes, I like the flavor of beer.
I never seen him drink one beer.
He liked the flavor of beer, but he didn't like the alcohol part of it.
Right.
So he was just...
We didn't want to get wasted at 10:30 in the morning.
Well, and the big thing about it was because of his job, how he fit in to Muskego for all of his... everything.
I am thinking of George Kohler.
No.
See, I got it mixed up.
He was always on call.
Yeah, right.
So at any point, he could get a phone call, and he might have to be a paramedic, or he might be a firefighter, or he might have this disturbance he had to go deal with. He was everything.
Yeah.
So he said, well, I don't drink alcohol because at any point I could get called in, and for me to say, oh, I can't do that, that's irresponsible.
Yeah.
So I asked him, I made sure that I always kept a stock of non-alcoholic beer for George. I know a few other people drank it, but I did it for George. George was a great guy.
Yeah, George was cool.
His mom was hilarious.
That was always
when
fun.
she would call in, like once a month to buy him a gift card that we'd have to give to him because she already paid for it, because he would not accept money from her for him taking care of her.
Yeah.
So she would call, make us, oh, I bought the gift card. Here you go, George. This is from your mom.
Yeah, that's what would happen too.
And he'd just
so
give
funny.
you, and you can see it, the look on his face of seriously,
really.
And I gotta tell you, George had a hell of a mustache.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it was. I'd say it's a 3.5.
I see what you did there.
Thank you.
But just George is a hell of a dude. He's another one of those guys that I miss. But yeah. All of that, but this
and we could keep him there for 3 or 4 non-alcoholic beers too.
The Special Amber was the only Sprecher I carried. I actually had to bring in, when I got there, the Sprecher root beer, because that wasn't there.
Really?
So all I had was this, and it's like, what if we sell some fancier sodas? Well, like what? Well, Sprecher root beer, that's synonymous with root beer.
And it's funny too because the Sprecher beer and the Sprecher sodas were a different entity. We had to order those from different people. Well, it was kind of funny.
Well, and at that time
really
I didn't order any.
Funny.
I ordered everything from the same place.
Yeah,
we were not a big deal. Our bar was not doing any business for real distributors.
We're still not that big. Well, it's not we anymore.
We got there.
Yeah.
We were doing 20 to 30 cases a week.
Yeah, we were.
So that's that was Sam.
Oh, okay. Hi, Sam.
But so that was the whole thing. I don't know who it was there for, other than Dan Pillay, and Dan Pillay was all over the spectrum.
Well, and even before you got there, it was such a bigger deal than when we kind of had it, and we were trying to bring it back up to where it was, but we never really got that chance to bring it to its heyday.
And the big thing, I think, is that it lost some key players.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bruckner, he was a big hit of the party that was there.
Yeah, absolutely.
When he went down, it was like that whole group was just, okay, we're done.
That's pretty true.
He was the bringer of party.
Maybe there was 3 or 4 guys that still kept coming, and
you never met Leon.
I don't think so.
Leon and those guys were there.
OTB2?
No, different Leon.
Oh, okay.
There was Ed and his guys.
Rockwell?
He shot with Gary and Ed and
wow.
Steve Utechin. Yeah. And Ed he would come in every Thursday. And if him and those guys showed up, it was worth being open. Those 4 guys were worth it. Because you get those 4 guys, they'd come in, they'd drink all night, they'd shoot 3 or 4 rounds of 5-stand. And then it was Thursday, which meant Grumpy and Jerry would come in.
Yep, so that whole group of guys, if you could get them all up there.
So, and then they would always have one, and I don't think you ever saw it. You saw it occasionally. Grumpy would come up and have one. But it was, him.
Yeah, in the end, he'd sit at the bar, but he'd never actually drink he'd drink a Diet Coke.
Oh, man. That's rough for you, because I think after you left, even, I had a couple nights of having a beer with him.
That sucks.
And
that pisses me off.
And he was just, it's those guys like that I miss the most.
Yeah.
That I'm really excited for, because Todd's having a party at his house, which Grumpy's going to show up at some point.
That'll be interesting.
And to see him will just be that's the icing on the cake. When I went to Stan had a housewarming party when they moved into the house.
Yeah.
And this was right before Levi was born.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, Jess was like ready to pop any day. So I'm sitting there and I'm downstairs looking at stuff with Stan, and I hear a voice, and it's like, I know that voice, but I'm like, there's no way this can't be. What would he be doing here? And Todd walks in.
Yeah.
And the grin on his face when he saw me was just, oh, I didn't know the riffraff was allowed here. And I responded to him like, well, obviously you did, because you showed up. And he shook my hand and gave like the half hug, like, holy shit, where have you been?
Right here.
And I've been here. Where have you been? You haven't been where I've been.
Yeah.
And I think it was fun for everybody, including Stan, to see like, hey, this is Big Shot Max. I know everybody. And to get to talk and hang out with Todd for somebody I hadn't seen in a couple months. Just like, it's good to see him. Man.
God, I love that too. That's so much fun too. God, who did I see? He was in Milwaukee Burger Company. I ran into him with all of my rowdy friends, and ran into him and his wife, and just trying to catch up. And man, it's just one of those things where, it's tough to swallow, because we had the world by the balls, and
right.
This is one of those beers where you drink and you think about, man, we could have had it all.
I ran into the guys, and I do not know their names for the life of me, because they were not my group to remember. But it was a dude who was about my height. He had white hair.
White hair.
Kind of like Kurt.
Oh, okay.
He shot with a dude who was like 6'2", skinny, pencil-looking dude, with glasses and a big mustache.
Pencil?
They shot every Wednesday, and it would have been right before you left for the day on Wednesday.
What for the day on Wednesday? Oh. Okay.
And I want to say it was one of the standards. I want to say his name was like Gary or Bob or something like that.
That does not ring any bells.
And I saw him at work the other day at the mall. And, out of people walking around, I just say, hey, how's it going? And they were walking outside the perimeter of the mall for their mall walking.
Yeah.
And they went, holy shit.
Holy shit.
This is where you are? And I told them, well, you guys really think I stopped working?
Tall mustache.
And I can't think of their names, and I feel terrible about it. But I never knew their names because...
Afternoon?
Yes. Yes, it would have been, like I said, right before the shift change.
Yeah.
So you always sign them up, and they would hang around. They'd sign up, but they knew, hey, we don't have to hurry because it's not that point yet.
Do they drink?
They'd have a beer first.
What do they drink?
I have no
clue.
The problem I have was it was always that, like I said, that changeover time, which means I was trying to make sure everything was running.
Yeah.
So I never signed them up. I never talked with them. I never met them in the bar.
It's been so long, too.
But
2008.
It's just like, here they are. Oh, my God. So they said something, and I just responded, like I knew who they were, and I'm like, hey, I'd say I'm living the dream, but that's not my catchphrase. And they were just like, I thought that was you, because who else says that?
Yeah, and that's funny within itself, because everybody thinks I'm sarcastic when I say it. I'm not. That's fucking, life is good. You can't beat my life. Are you kidding?
So, all of that, but that's the big thing. Sprecher was there before my time, even.
That's cool.
It disappeared.
Because I sent it away, because we weren't selling it.
And we brought it back, and I think the big thing with it was me and you. We'd drink it constantly while there and push it.
That's where I was going to go. We brought it back to do a favor to the beer distributor. He did good by us. He was going to do good by us. He got us a couple of signs for it. And we were going to push Special Amber and Black Bavarian. And that's what we did. I've always been a firm believer as, a guy that works in the bar, you have a couple of cocktails while you're at the bar.
Right.
You have shots with the guys playing dice because, it gave you that impression that you were one of the guys. There's not a lot of people nowadays that believe in that statement.
just the feeling, to tie the bar in, and we pushed it heavily that that group on this side of the bar and that group on the opposite side of the bar, you're in the bar together.
That's right.
You're one group.
That's right.
Whether you like it or not, we're going to incorporate it.
And we all have such a like mind, We're all here for one reason. We
right.
came here to shoot targets. We didn't necessarily come here to drink beer, but here we are. There's beer here. We don't want to go home yet.
Right.
Let's have a beer.
Right.
And if we're here, we might as well be drinking beer too. And that's what we did. We advertised the beers that, okay, what do we want to start pushing? Okay,
right.
What do we want to start trying? There was a time where I was drinking almost nothing but cider boys because we couldn't get rid of that shit.
Right.
And, of course, we've talked about this on this program a whole bunch of times. There were those beers that I drink because I liked them, and I figured me drinking them would sell them, and I ended up drinking all of those beers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
the
think
Nucleus Blacktop.
I was going to say, I think Blacktop comes to mind with that one.
The Lakefront Fixed Gear was really good, and nobody drank it except, I think, 2 people, and it
right.
was me and Scoop.
Yeah. Well, Scoop was very easy to draw that impression. I mean, even Hilo you could rope into every now and then.
I still got to share that video.
And then,
now it'll share.
That was a good video.
Yeah, that was funny.
But just every aspect of it. When you talk about it, I never understood every bartender that we brought in who struggled.
Right.
Because, wait a minute. You can talk to people. You like beer.
You can talk to us, but you can't. You like guns. You wouldn't
right.
be here if you didn't like guns.
And I mean, there's a few exceptions to that rule. Our
like
good
Lisa,
friend, our good friend Jera.
Yes.
She did a hell of a job.
Absolutely. She could model, boy. She could model.
So, quick side note, we're gonna do that shout out like we always try to do for them.
Yeah.
Jera, our good friend Jera, and her husband Colin.
Our kind of good friend Colin.
Right, because I don't know where he's been. Colin, are you anywhere? You're supposed to be producing. We're on like episode 512 right now.
Yeah, Colin. We're not gonna call you. You call us.
So, but anyways, they do their own podcast called
Colin and Jera Watch Cartoons.
We Had Kids, and It Sucks to Be You.
I think that's close, yeah.
That sounds about right?
If you type that in, it'll come up to their podcast. So
No, it's called Things Our Kids Made Us Watch, Colin and Jera. They
did a Power Rangers one.
They did a Power Rangers one. I actually commented to them back about it because I was a diehard original Power Rangers fan. But
what were the original Power Rangers?
Like the early 90s.
Like the Mighty Morphin Power.
I think the Mighty Morphin were the first ones.
I suppose those were OG.
But yeah, go watch them. Go see what they're doing.
And
go listen to them.
Power Rangers.
I know they're doing all sorts of other things. I know we're getting sidetracked here, but Jera is also on Twitch.
She is?
Yes, she does. She plays video games.
I think she did Batman Arkham Asylum. That was pretty fun.
Jera's a gamer. I don't know what Colin's doing with his life. He must be...
hopefully he's watching the kids. Somebody ought to be. Otherwise, you call me if you need a babysitter.
Yeah, that's 1-800-HOWARD lost your kids.
Somewhere in Vegas.
But, yeah, so those are our friends. They do all sorts of fun stuff. Jared worked with us. That was the unfortunate part of her life.
No, yeah, but that was the very fortunate part of our life.
But it's okay
because
awesome. We enjoyed every part of her exoticness, as Scoop would say. As
did many other gentlemen.
So, but, all those bartenders, way back to where we started, they didn't get it.
No, not really.
I know a few, like Caroline, man. She loved guns.
Yeah, right. No,
exactly. I don't know what to talk about with these guys. How about guns? You like guns? Talk about guns. They like guns. Like guns. We like guns.
What if you thought? Where were you at? And it's awkward because Caroline. We had our differences. That's because I was after your job, frankly. And she.
No, Frank didn't drink in the bar.
No, not
at
that
any
time.
Of them actually.
Not at that time. No. No, but, and it was just one of those things where you'd see an indent behind the cash register because the elbow was behind the bar and was like, we could be doing so much better. I could be doing so much better. Yeah. This is all of that money sitting on the bar that was all for Howard, and it could be mine. So, it was just one point after another. How fast can I get out of this place?
Right, at the end of the day, you said we're open till 9. Well, the bar's open until you kick everybody out. Well, if I kick everybody out now, can I go? Just go.
I'll take care of it from there.
And it's just
and I made like $40.
It bent up and everything. I made a killing when I bartended. That last summer I did.
I always made, no matter what, 35%.
Yeah.
36% one day, 34% one day, 35%. Yeah, it didn't matter what it was.
I think it was about there too.
You were better than me. You made like 8 million percent or something.
I made a killing.
I was always pissed.
I
was like, I'm way cooler than you are.
Yeah, but I could make a drink better and faster.
That's probably true. I'm pretty slow.
But that's because you were lazy, remember? That's why Matt was pissed at you, because you were sitting on the chair and bartending and Matt, from the chair.
You can hear this. If you're listening to this, fuck you, okay? All right?
So all you guys at that gun club that we're not naming, because no free advertisements, I hope you're listening to this.
But we will name the owner, because he doesn't even name himself, so we might as well do that for him.
Right, but Big Bucks named him.
Big Bucks?
Oh, you don't know about that. Kurt Baker.
Oh.
Kurt Baker
I thought they were friends.
Kurt Baker got the nickname Big Bucks Baker.
Oh.
At some point because he would spend $15, $20 in extra targets.
Right.
Just trying to learn how to shoot. So they deemed him Big Bucks Baker, and I'm like, dude, he likes to shoot. He's retired. What's he going to do with his money? Take it with him?
And it's not like he wanted to, suck. He didn't want to be the worst one on the court with all of the hotshot shooters. He wanted to actually be, maybe comparable.
Right.
So,
there's no problems with him. He was an arrogant son of a bitch, but, we all are. So.
But he was a handsome, arrogant son of a bitch.
Now you're just taking the words out of his mouth.
Well, fair enough.
Kurt, we miss you. Probably.
Well, somebody does. It's certainly not me.
Some of the days.
Yeah.
Some of the days. Other days it was, you're friends with that dickhead? Okay, fuck off.
No, that's pretty spot on.
But, Howard, where do you put it? Sprecher Amber.
Solid 3.
Solid 3. Man.
And it's mostly a nostalgia thing.
It's a nostalgia 3?
It's a nostalgia 3 because of all the things that we did. If it was a normal beer, here, hold on.
Hanging on.
3.25.
Oh, okay. I really like it because it's that sour lager. So it is a lager. It's one of my favorite beers. It's a base,
but you still get a little hint of the smoky amber taste.
Right.
There's a little bit of it, little bit. Well, it's not hinterland. It's not. Louis Demise is not great, but.
But it's that Sprecher charm.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, and this one, and I know we're running low on time here for it, but this one holds a unique place in my heart because this is one of the first beers I sat down in a bar with my old man and had.
Really?
We were at a wedding.
Wow.
In Lake Geneva, I think it was.
Wow, you were way out of town.
And the hotel that my parents were staying at, me and Sam came home from it, but that hotel that we
was attached to the new Sprecher.
Was attached to a full just Sprecher bar.
Can I tell you something about that bar?
Can you tell me something? I don't know. Can you?
That was a Houlihan's.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That was a Houlihan's. There was an out-of-this-world Houlihan's. And it was so good that they had these, like, stuffed horseradish deep-fried mushrooms. Ooh. They were fucking insane. But you only got, like, 5 of them.
That sounds still great, man.
You know, and there were 4 of us. And so you'd get one, you'd get one, you'd get one, you'd get one. And then we had to split the last one in 4. You know, and it was fair, it was cool. That's what I loved about my childhood, that Houlihan's. We went there years later. It wasn't nearly as good as it was. I'd like to go there again. You know, to see, because now that our palates are a little bit different than they were when we were kids, I'd like to see what the Mango Rattler tastes like on tap.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I didn't think of any of those.
Ooh,
but yeah, I'd put this at about a 4.
Yeah.
I really like the beer. Even though it has a sourness to it that I don't traditionally like.
A little bitterness.
I like this beer.
Yeah.
I will go to it if I see you have Sprecher beers.
Oh, I will too.
You got Amber, you got Black Bavarian. Okay, we're going to talk.
And it has to be a little bit different on tap, too, you know, because it's got to have a little bit smoother taste to it, and it's got to be a little bit more cut and dry, you know.
You know what I just thought of, Howard?
What's that?
We didn't even mention that time you won 2 cases of this.
I was thinking about that earlier, and we just got out of control.
You know, I still have the picture.
I do, too.
Of you standing there just, like, completely unenthused look on your face, just like...
That was my Gentleman's Quarterly pose, by the way. You know, I was going to be a model at that point in time.
But this was long-haired, long Billy Goat beard Howard.
That's because it was like winter. Don't judge me.
I judge you heavily every day. That's why we're friends.
So that was for the Cudahy trap shooting team. And we went in, and that was actually funny. I'll tell you this story, too. This has to do with my sister as well. My aunts, uncles gave her, like, some cash. They were like, make sure this gets to your sister. No, we don't talk.
Yeah.
That's going to charity.
Yeah.
And so that happened to be the charity. I got a shitload of tickets.
Yep, I remember
from the Cudahy trap shooting team. And I put them all in that 2 cases of Amber, you know, Sprecher beer.
Yeah.
I won.
Yeah.
It was great. And I got a hat. And I got the beer, and I got pretty burnt out on this beer after a while.
Yeah, I think we had a beer. I think you brought a case here.
I brought a case here because I would drink here all the time.
You know,
I think that was when I was living with CJ, if I'm not mistaken.
That's possible.
If I'm not mistaken.
Who knows?
Years and beers ago that was.
But on that note, Howard, we are hitting to that point. My beer has been low for a while. I've been babysitting it because
but I'm
we're
not
talking too much.
We're really going to cut off.
We're really going to cut off. We're really going to cut off. Look what time it is. Everybody's getting sick of hearing your voice and my voice.
1,004 seconds.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, right? 1,006. 1,007. Oh, God.
Can we keep going?
No, we're going to wrap up.
Can we take a call? Jenny, you're on line 1. You're 21 years old.
So
we're not there yet, ladies and
gentlemen.
On that
note, my beer is getting low, which means it is about that time. So,
all right.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to us. We're probably going to continue this later this week. We
have enough beer. We could do a couple more today.
All about how much we love this beer and everything.
Okay.
But on behalf of Howard and myself, we thank you and appreciate all of you guys that listen to us way too much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'll be here all week.
Well, you will. And I probably will be, too.
Yeah. But on behalf of both of us, this has been Max and Howard Drink Beer. I am Max.
And I am Howard.
Cheers.